Okay. Hello everyone, welcome. Today I'm going to give you a video tutorial on the STARR test. As we know, the STARR test of the 2021 is going to be online and it's quite different from the paper test that you did and you are familiar with. So today I'm going to show you how does the online test look like, and also I will give you some tools and tips on how you can nail the STARR test. Well, let's go. We're going to do this on this website. It's a simulator of the real STARR test, and I'm going to include the link to this website so that you can practice on your side. Well, let's go. Let's do some practice. Take test, select, all these are real questions from the past years. Let's choose 8th grade, math. Alright, here we go. This is exactly what you will see when you are in the actual test. We are on the front page, we click next. Here are all the directions, and these directions are quite not too detailed, so we are going to explain them. I will just leave them for you to read. So click on. Well, here is where you need to stop and wait for your test administrator to finish the instruction part, and you can continue when you hear from the test administrator. Let's go next. Okay, so we are officially in the test, and this is the screen that you will see. On the top of the screen, you read, okay, this is the grade level, the subject, and the number of the questions. And to the right side, here's the important thing that you can use is zoom. Click this. We now zoom in. Say you need to zoom in and take a closer look. You can use that button, and we have a zoom panel on the screen. So you can use it to move up or down, left or right. And you can also further zoom in. Currently we are at 1.5 times, 2 times, 2.5, and 3 times as large. So you can zoom in, and if you're done, just click this button and we come back. Okay, and the second thing you can try is the color button. What it does is it changes the color theme, like a red on white, green on white, blue on white, white on blue, white on green, yellow on black. Just know that this is only meant for students with special needs. You don't have to change it. Actually, for myself, I find most of them doesn't make my screen better. The black on gray is fine, kind of make the screen either more comfortable for the eyes, but I will still go with default. I think default is just good enough for me, right? So make the choice according to your preference. And to the right we have pause and log out. These two buttons, that's when you need to take like a restroom break or something. But make sure you first ask your test administrator before you use these buttons. All right. So raise your hand and ask the administrator before you do that. And down below we have the tools. We have 6 tools on the screen. We're going to talk about them one by one. And we have the clear button, and this is, if we need to clear something on the screen. Let's say I use the eliminator. I say, hey, this is not correct. I eliminate 2 options, and but later you want to clear. You click this button that will clear. And mark for review. And this is you will mark this whole question. Maybe you are not decided for now. You cannot make sure it's a B or D. You can mark it, and in the end, when you do the review, you can see which ones you made a flag. Then you can quickly go back to check those questions. right? And the third button on the right is the notes. It's very, very handy. So we are going to talk about that. And at the bottom, we have the navigation bar. You can scroll left or right to go to the questions. But I would suggest that you just do them one by one. You can go back and next using the buttons. Well, let's use the question 2. Let's use the tools, for example. Question 2, it's a transformation and the pentagon is moved 1 unit to the left and 10 units down. So let me show you how you can use these tools. Like say for this one, for me, I will say I will use pencil. So click the pencil, you have the tool panel and you can drag it to somewhere that does not block your screen. And it has 3 different strokes: pencil, points, and lines. Pencil is like a free drawing, and points is to mark certain points, and lines, you can draw straight lines. Now, let's consider this question, and you can also change the color of your stroke. Let's say this one, I wanna study the movement. So I will pick this point. Let's say I pick this point. I'm gonna study this point, and here you can use actually the notes. We have the notes, and it has a resize handle at the bottom right corner. You can make it larger or smaller. Yeah, I think this one is good because allow me to type while still allow me to see the screen. So I say, hey, I have this point. Let me write it down. This point is currently at -1 and 3, right? And now I'm going back to the pencil, and you can actually draw on the screen, say 1 unit left, then 10 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? So that's my new point. That's my new point. And that's at negative, we are going to need to move 10 units down, I'm sorry. So let's do again. So 1 unit left, and 10 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so that's our new point. And that point is a -2 and a -7. So here, close the pencil. Let's go back to our notes. And let's mark some notes. It's currently at -2 and -7. And here we can study the difference and we can find out the rules. If you want, you can also do more points. But yeah, we are probably going to just stop here. Right. So from this point, from the points, we might see that x decreased by 1 and y decreased by 10. Okay, so that's the rule that we find out. And using this rule, we can just compare with the options, see which option gave us that rule. And you might see that's option A. That's option A, right? So x decreased by 1, subtract 1. Y decreased by 10, subtract 10. Okay, so this is an example of how we use the pencil and the notepad. And let me give you another example. Let's go to question 11. Question 11. Oh, by the way, you have the sketch. You have access to the sketch paper. So scratch paper. So why do you still want to use a notepad? I mean, you can use the scratch paper. It's also very helpful. But there's one benefit to the notepad. That is, when you go back later, anytime when you go back, and you click the notepad, you still have your notes there. So you can check what have I done and what are the steps that can make you can give you a faster review of the question. All right, so that's a benefit of the notepad, because if you're doing it on the scratch paper, you probably will have a bunch of scratch paper, and it's hard to jump back and forth to find the right notes. But the notepad, it's handy. Well, okay, let's go to page 11. So this one is, asking us, is this a function or not? Which one is not a function? So let's use pencil. And we know we are going to do the vertical line test. So let's go to the lines, and we can just draw. I'm using my mouse. You can use your trackpad. Draw a line, and you can see which one passed the vertical line test, right? That should be A. That should be A, and because it crossed the graph twice, so it does not pass the vertical line test, and it's not, right? You can use the pencil as a highlighter if you want. So therefore this answer is A. And let's do this one. So this one is another example. So we are having a scatter plot. We are making predictions using the trend line. Again, let's use the pencil. First, we want to use the free draw, the free draw pencil, and circle the points. Circle the points. And next, let's draw a line and cut it half by half. Oh, I want to draw a straight line. Right? Yeah, make sure you're happy with your trend line. You are doing them half and half. If you're not happy, use the eraser, clear that, and just simply do again. Right? Okay. Oops. All right. So after that, we are making predictions as to 8. The question is about how many people do we have? How many people do in the family with 7 people? How much do they spend? How much do they spend? So you can find 7. This is 7, and connect it to the trend line, and from the connection you go to the other side. That's going to be our prediction. I would say for this one, my trend line is not very good, so probably I want to do again. So make sure that our trend line, we are happy with that. Is that better? Yeah, this is better. And then you connect this line to the trend line, and from there you go to the other side, and that's close to 240. Okay, so you can use the pencil in 3 different ways. Now the next one I want to introduce to you, let's go to question 6. Question 6. Oh, this one we didn't make a choice. Say let's make a choice, and it will be marked on the navigation bar. So we go to question 6. And this one is about finding out the slope and the y-intercept. And here I'm going to introduce to you the formulas. Click the formulas. It has all the formulas given to you as reference. It has a resize handle at the bottom corner, and you can use that to resize. And we can also use this together with a pencil. Say we are doing the slope. Let's find out the slope formula. And that's here, right? That's here. This is the slope formula. And I can also write it down, because you need to do the calculation. So you cannot open the formula chart while you're doing the calculation. So let's write it down. Slope is y2 subtract y1 divide by x2 divide by x1, right? X2 subtract x1. Now, we can close the formula and let's look at the table. And we can also write down our x1, the first x is 0, and the y1, the first y is 15, right? And let's write down x2, the second x, which is 10, and the second y, which is 14.6. 14.6. And look at the formula. Let's do y2 subtract y1, which is going to be y2 14.6 subtract 15. That's going to be a negative 0.04. 0.4. I'm sorry. And next, let's do x2 subtract x1. That's going to be 10 subtract 0, and that's going to be 10. And lastly, we do the division. Negative 0.4 divided by 10. That's going to give us a negative 0.04, and that is our slope. Right? And as to the y-intercept, that's the value when x is 0. When x is 0, we read from the table, that's 15. Okay, y equals to 15. Therefore, we have slope negative 0.04, y-intercept 15. Okay, so use these notes, kind of also it works like a mind map to help you to navigate through the steps. Now just check which option give you negative 0.04 and 15. Okay, and that's gonna be B, right? So we can use the several tools, formula, pencil, and the notepad together. And again, the steps is always there. Whenever you come back, it's still there, and you can quickly check your steps. Well, next one, let's try 14. Again, another example. So we are, this time, while we are reading, let's use the pencil to mark the key information, and we are doing the lateral surface area of cylinder, right? And let's open the formula. Where can we find the lateral surface of a cylinder? Okay, let me open the pencil. Lateral surface, lateral, this is lateral, and cylinder. So the formula is S equals to 2 pi r h, right? So again, on our notepad, write it down. S equals to 2 times pi times r times height. Now we just need to find out the elements. We know pi is the 3.14, r is radius, and here we have the 8.4 given to us as the diameter, and we know the radius is half of it. So half of 8.4 or 4.2, because that's the diameter. And the height is given to us as 10.9. So therefore, what we are going to do is 2 times pi times 4.2 times 10.9. Right, and here we can use the calculator. The calculator is also on the screen, graphing calculator. Just know that this is a different model. You probably have been using the TI Inspire, and this one on the screen, it's a TI 84. It's not as new as the TI Inspire, but just believe me, it's just good enough. It's powerful. It's it's good enough to do everything you do with the TI Inspire. Please know that I do recommend you to use the TI Inspire because you have been trained, you have been taught to use that. So I recommend you use the physical TI Inspire. However, you can use the TI-84 as a backup. Just say like you are stuck with the TI Inspire and you forgot where are the button, where can I find what? You can still use the TI-84. It's a good option. Well, let's do this. 2, see, it has a numeric pad. It's quite intuitive. Times pi. Now, where's the pi button? Well, pi is, if you see the button with the little arrow above the divide sign, there's a little pi in the corner in blue. What does it mean? So this button, if you just press it, it will give you the power button. If we want to use the pi, we need to press the second, which is blue, and then press the button again that tells the calculator that you're using the letter in blue, pi. See, right? And actually they have a third button that's in green. So if you want to do this, use the third option on the same button, press the blue alpha button and press this button. You have the H, the third option on the same key, right? So let's do 2 times. I want to use the blue one, blue pi. So press the second and press the button. We get pi. Then times 4.2 times 10.9, and that gave us 287.64, right? And we write it down with our notes so that we have all the steps there. And let's see which one gave us the answer, and that's going to be B, right? So use a calculator. This is how we use a calculator. Let's do another one. Here we have a interest problem. Let's, while you're reading, use the pencil to mark the key information, the money, the rate, the type of the loan, the compound, the type of the interest, and the time in 2 years, right? And then we use the formula to find out. Let's clear our previous markings. Let's find out what's the formula for compound interest. And you can find it at the bottom. And here it is. Let's copy it down in our notepad. A equals to P times 1 plus R to the power of T, right? That's our formula. Just copy that. And let's decide what is P. P is the original deposit, the principal, and that's 2,500. And what is R is the rate. The rate is 6.5%. And the T is the time, which is 2 years. Okay, so we just have to plug in, and that's going to be 2,500 times 1 plus 6.5%, and to the power of 2, right? And here you can use the TI Inspire, just plug in, and you will get the answer. And here we can also use the embedded calculator. 2,500 times parentheses, that's above 8, 1 plus 6.5%. Here you should know that this calculator does not have a percent sign. So if you need a percent, you will need to just divide it by 100 and make it 0.065. Okay, this calculator does not have a percent sign, but the TI Inspire, it does have, but this one does not, right? And the power, this is a power button, the same button as pi. Press that, and we put in 2. That's our formula, and enter, we have the answer. That is 2,835.56. And which one gives us that? And that's going to be A. right? So here's how these tools can help you. Let's do one more on this test. This one. So this one, this is, we actually do the same thing. We know this is a right triangle, and we are doing the Pythagorean theorem, and this is the right angle across. That's a C. That's a hypotenuse, and these two legs are A and B. And according to our formula, we know that Pythagorean theorem, where is Pythagorean theorem? It's here. According to the Pythagorean theorem, we know that a squared plus b squared equals to c squared, right? So a squared plus b squared equals to c squared, and a is 26 squared plus b is 19.5 squared, and they add up to be c squared. And here we can use a graphing calculator. Let's quickly do that. 26 squared, the power is 2, and you can also use the square button. It's 26 squared plus 19.5 squared, and that gave us 1000. We know c squared equals to 1056.25. And to get c, we just take the root on both sides. C is the root of 1056.25. So let's do the root. 1000. The root button on this one. It's the same button as the square, but it's in blue. So we press the second, and then we press this. We get the root. And let's do 1056.25. Oops. 1056.25, and that gave us 32.5. The C is 32.5, right? And we want to talk about this question because we want to talk about they call this gradable questions. It's like not like a multiple choice, and you have to manually put in your result. Here 32.5, and see there's a decimal, and we just put in 32.5. Okay, so this is how it is done. But there's something we want to talk about the gradable questions. The first thing is about the first space, and I actually looked up the instructions for the gradables. So here we have some instructions on how to fill out the gradable questions. There are, for 8th grade, there are 4 gradable questions, and the correct answers can be positive or negative. If the answer is negative, student must enter a negative sign. If no sign is marked, the answer will default to a positive number. So that is, if your answer is negative, you must put a negative. Okay? If you put nothing, they just by default think it's positive. So either you put a positive sign or negative sign, they indicate the sign. Or if you put nothing, that means it's positive. Okay, that's the first. And the second thing we want to say is the students must enter their answer in the correct columns with respect to the fixed decimal point. What does that mean? What does it mean? So it means your 32 and 5 must be on these places. You cannot do like 32 and 0.5. If you do this, this is going to be wrong. This is going to be wrong. That's because all the spaces have their place value. So if you do this, actually, this is 1,000, 100. So they think you are telling them to 3,200. 0.5. Okay, so you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to make sure that what you did was in the correct place. Okay. You have to make sure that your 3 is 30, not 3,000, not 300, and your 2 is just 2, not 20 or 200. And your 5 has to be in the first space after the decimal. You cannot put it there, because if you put it there, that means what you're doing is 32.05, which will be wrong. Okay, and one last thing we want to talk is, there's one last thing, that is extra zeros can be filled in. You may or may not fill in depending on that's your choice, as long as their placement does not affect the value of the answer. So the meaning is so you have your answer here. You can put a 0 in the back. You can fill in more zeros in the front. And you can even add a positive sign as